So today I'm going to talk about this book, Sapiens. Yes, Sapiens by Professor Harari. And it's about a brief history of humankind. I got this book last year on Christmas, and I was just thinking with myself, how am I really going to read this book? I've never read a book like this. It's quite big. It's about 500 pages. And then I also was thinking, okay, it's not about personal development, or it's not about a practical book, it's a history book. Why should I even be bothered? And then coming back to 3 weeks ago, that I was just sitting at home and I was just looking at the shelves and I saw the book and I said, let me look, what is it really? Let me just look at it. So I started reading the book since that moment, and I got so interested about the history of humankind and the language that the author used to describe the story, obviously. And it's so fascinating, it's so interesting, and I love the language and the story behind this book. It's so fascinating the way the author is trying to explain whatever has happened so far to us, that now we are here and I can record this one and I can put it on YouTube. For example, it's just talking about our history at the beginning when we were just one type of chimpanzee, and then over 1,000 years, then we grew up, we start thinking, we start doing things together, then we start be a farmer, and then city, then revolutions, and blah 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 up until today. And the book itself is very interesting. I assume there are a lot of noises around this book these days, and good noises obviously, and people are talking about it a lot, and a lot of people are interested and give a lot of book reviews, and I don't know, a lot of blogs around this one. Obviously, I have listened to a lot of conversation and what would I say, interviews with the author on the BBC and different channels, and I found it so interesting because it's a different point of view about our history. It's a different way of looking at us from the beginning even today. It's a different way of looking at religions, it's a different way of looking at our progress, it's a different way of looking at our history and the way we were doing things. And behind the book, it just says something very nice. And it says, fire gave us power, farming made us hungry for more, money gave us purpose, and science made us deadly. Obviously, that's true if you look at it. Before fire, according to the book, we were in a very, very low in animal kingdoms, because we were not as powerful of, for example, lions. We were not as big as elephants. We were not as fast of cheetah, or we were not none of them. So probably we were like the most vulnerable one, and even we were not as strong as, for example, a lot of monkeys. So by fire, we just get to the top. With fire, we could just make every other animal scared of us. We could do a lot of things with fire. Instead of, for example, going for hunting and then eating food the whole day, we could just cook the food in 1 hour and eat it, or a few hours and then eat it, and then for the rest of the day we would have done something else. And then we started being a farmer, and by being a farmer, obviously we start growing things, and our life from being a hunter or before being a farmer get more complicated and more miserable, because according to the book, before that we just needed to go for hunting and eating, and that's it. Just hunt, eat, and I don't know, maybe gossiping. But with farming, no, we had to work all day, and maybe all our family, we needed to work just for a bit of I don't know, output or result, and then again and again and again, and then we lost also one more thing, because every year when we were like investing on our farms for any, because of building something or things, we were not be able to move to somewhere else. So by being a farmer, obviously there was some benefits, but on the other hand, our life get more miserable because we were working harder, we had less time to enjoy our life, and we were just working harder basically. And then we invented money because it wasn't easy to trade with others, and money was just another delusion. I mean, probably it's just a different conversation to talk about money history, but then we invent money to do the trading, and this is it. And then they also talk about the empires and the nationalism, capitalism, and a lot of these things, socialism, liberals, and a lot of these fancy words that humans invented to for their benefit, for nothing more. And then they talk about wars, they talk about a lot of other things, and then at the last 2 chapters, I believe, it comes to the science and what science did to us or is doing to us. And obviously there are a very good side of science, and there was maybe bad side of science. If you think about nuclear bombs, for example, since the 1945, now because of that we are scared of having more real war, because we can finish all humanity. And also obviously they tried it 2 times in Japan, and it just talk about, yes, even though it's helping a lot, at the same time it could be as deadly as human can think of. So I found the book very interesting. As you can see, it's quite big, and I read it just over like 2 weeks. Very interesting book. I enjoyed it so much, and I'm reading the next book by him, by the author, and because I found it very interesting. I really suggest, if you are interested in science, in history, in science, in the way to just really find out another way of thinking about our history, I really suggest this book. It just gives you another point of view, an interesting point of view, to be honest, which I've never seen this point of view anywhere, and it explains pretty much everything with reason behind it. It explains everything by, it proves it. For example, if it says it was good or bad, capitalism, it was good or bad, it just proves it because of this. If the free market is good or bad, again, it tried to explain, it talk about the oil, it talk about a lot of things. And yes, I really enjoyed it, and I truly suggest reading this book, because the book is very easy to read, easy to understand, and interesting. I cannot just market this book anymore by just talking about it more than this. I mean, yes, give it a head and just let me know what do you think. If you enjoy reading it, just share it in the comments below, and also don't forget to subscribe or like the video if you enjoy that. It's really going to affect on the channel, and yes, this is it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.